When I moved into the old house on the edge of town, the landlord warned me it creaked a lot. Just the bones of the place, he said. On day 3, I noticed a window on the 3rd floor that hadn't been there before. It looked straight into my bedroom. The light inside was on, but no one else lived here. I climbed up to the 3rd floor. The hallway was covered in dust. The air felt heavier with every step. But when I reached where the window should be, there was just a brick wall. No room. No glass. Just solid bricks. I touched the wall. Cold. I almost laughed it off. Almost. Until that night. At exactly 2:43 a.m., the window lit up again. I stared, frozen in bed. A figure stood behind the glass, completely still. Then it moved, slowly raising its hand, and pointed right at me. My phone buzzed. One new message. Unknown number. Why are you in my house? I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. I sat on the edge of my bed, gripping my phone like it was a weapon. The message kept replaying in my head. Why are you in my house? I didn't respond. What was I supposed to say? That I didn't know what was happening? That I thought this place was mine now? At some point, I must have blacked out from exhaustion because I woke up to daylight streaming through the same window. But now, it was just a blank wall again. No light. No figure. Just ordinary bricks, like none of it had happened. I convinced myself I'd been hallucinating. Maybe stress. I had just moved, barely unpacked, and was dealing with the isolation of living alone. Maybe it was all in my head. That logic held together, until I checked my phone. The message was still there. No number. Just the words. Still unread, still haunting. I tried deleting it, but my screen froze. Then glitched. When it finally cleared, my wallpaper had changed to a black screen with 3 words typed in white. Don't look up. I dropped the phone. It hit the hardwood floor with a sickening crack, but I didn't dare move. Don't look up. The words replayed over and over in my head like a broken record. My eyes were already halfway to the ceiling. I forced myself to stop. I don't know why, but something deep in my gut screamed that the message wasn't a threat, it was a warning. And I've always believed in instincts. I grabbed a blanket, threw it over my head, and sat still, shivering even though it wasn't cold. Eventually, curiosity got the better of me. I peeked out from under the blanket and slowly tilted my head upward. Nothing. Just a regular ceiling. Cracked paint, cobwebs in the corners. No sign of anything abnormal. I let out a nervous laugh. Maybe the message was just a sick prank. But that night, when I turned off the lights to sleep, I heard it. A slow scraping sound, like fingernails dragging across the ceiling directly above my bed. Then it stopped. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. The next day, I visited the local library and asked the librarian if she had any historical records on the house. Her face changed instantly. She asked for the address. When I told her, she just shook her head and said, "That house's upstairs was sealed off in 1986. There was a fire. They said the boy who lived there never left." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean, never left?" I asked. She just looked at me and whispered, "His room had a window that shouldn't exist. No one ever figured out how it was built." That night, I couldn't sleep again. I sat in the kitchen with all the lights on, drinking cold coffee just to stay awake. At 2:43 a.m., on the dot, the hallway light flickered. Then came the footsteps. Slow, heavy, deliberate. I grabbed the only thing nearby, an old broomstick, and held it like a sword. The footsteps stopped outside the kitchen. Then silence. I didn't dare move. I swear I heard breathing. Not mine. Shaky. Uneven. Then the whisper, "You weren't supposed to look." I screamed and swung the broom through empty air. Nothing was there. But I felt something rush past me, ice cold and electric. I dropped the broom and ran. Out the door. Into the street. Barefoot. Didn't care. I slept in my car that night, parked in a gas station lot with the radio on. At sunrise, I drove back, thinking maybe I'd just gone crazy. Maybe it was lack of sleep or isolation. But when I stepped inside, I saw it. The window. In my living room now. Glowing faintly. It had moved. I taped over it. Thick black trash bags, duct tape, anything I could find. Covered every inch. I thought that would be enough. But at 2:43 a.m., I woke up to a bright blue light in my room. The tape was gone. The window was back. And this time, the figure wasn't just standing still. It was moving, pacing slowly behind the glass. Every few seconds, it would stop and turn as if it sensed me, as if it could see through the wall into my soul. I covered my eyes. I didn't sleep. Again. In the morning, I packed my things. I'd only been here a week, but I couldn't take it anymore. I planned to leave, even if I lost my deposit. I didn't care. But when I tried to open the front door, the lock was melted. Literally melted. Like someone had held a blowtorch to it. My windows were nailed shut from the outside. My phone wouldn't turn on. My car key was missing. It felt like the house itself didn't want me to leave. Or maybe he didn't. As night fell, I boarded up the window again and tried to stay in the basement, far from any light. But at 2:43 a.m., every bulb in the house flickered to life. All at once. Every window glowed. And I heard footsteps coming down the stairs. But they weren't mine. I'm not sure who, or what, was walking. I just know it was humming something. Something familiar. A lullaby my mother used to sing. The voice was low. Distorted. Male. And it sang as it came closer. Go to sleep, little one. You were never meant to wake up. The humming stopped when it reached the basement door. I stood frozen in the corner, my phone flashlight shaking in my hand. I didn't want to breathe too loud. The air felt thick, wet, like I was underwater. Then I heard the creak. The unmistakable sound of the door slowly opening. But no one came down. Just silence. That kind of silence that rings in your ears, like your body is trying to warn you something unnatural is nearby. I aimed the flashlight toward the stairs. Nothing. Just shadow. Deep, layered, moving. I backed into the farthest corner and crouched down behind an old shelving unit. My heart was pounding so loud I was sure it would give me away. Then something began descending the stairs. Not footsteps this time, but something dragging. Like long nails or maybe bones. I couldn't see it, but I felt it. A shift in air pressure. My ears popped. I swear the walls were vibrating, like the entire house had a heartbeat and it was syncing with mine. And then it spoke again. This time from the dark. You saw what you weren't supposed to. That's when I realized something that made me want to scream. The voice was coming from inside the basement. Not upstairs. It hadn't come down the stairs. It was already down here, with me. I turned to run, but slammed into the wall. It wasn't where it used to be. The basement layout had changed. Somehow. I was sure of it. There was a window now. Another one. Circular, old, rusted shut, but glowing faint blue like the one before. Except this one was bleeding. Just a slow drip, thick and black. Not glass. Not real. I finally managed to break the old door open and ran out, panting like I'd just been drowning. The house was completely dark now. All the bulbs shattered. The windows were gone. Not covered, just missing. As if they'd never existed. The air smelled burnt, metallic, almost sweet like rotting fruit. Then, the hallway stretched. Literally. Like a rubber band being pulled. I ran toward the front door, but it just kept getting farther. Longer. And behind me, I heard crawling. Not fast. Slow. Confident. Smiling. In the reflection of the mirror at the end of the hallway, I caught a glimpse of it, whatever it was. Tall. Too tall. Its arms stretched past its knees, dragging its knuckles. Its head tilted unnaturally, like a crow with a snapped neck. Its face was blurred, but the teeth were real. Too many. Smiling wide like it had been waiting centuries just to be seen. And then it opened its mouth, and instead of a voice, I heard every regret I'd ever buried. Screams of people I loved. My mother. My childhood self. Even the voice I hadn't heard in years. My brothers. I don't know how, but I woke up in my bathtub. Fully clothed. Shivering. The water was ice cold and completely black. I gagged and tried to climb out, but my legs were numb. There were handprints on the edges of the tub. Dozens. Tiny ones. Children's hands. Claw marks beneath them. I looked in the bathroom mirror, and the reflection didn't move. I was staring at myself, but the me in the mirror was just standing there. Not blinking. Not breathing. And then it smiled. But I didn't. I left the bathroom and the hallway had changed again. This time, the wallpaper was peeling like burned flesh. The floorboards pulsed under my feet, like veins. The house wasn't haunted. The house was alive. Feeding off fear. Growing stronger. The air was getting heavier, like it wanted to keep me inside. Like I was becoming part of it. A door slammed behind me. I ran. I didn't even know where I was going. I just ran until I hit a wall that hadn't been there before. Another window. This one looked into my old bedroom. In my childhood home. I stared through it, and there I was, 8 years old, sitting on my bed crying. Just like that night I thought I heard voices in the walls. The night no one believed me. I reached out to touch the glass, and my younger self looked up. Right at me. Dead in the eyes. And whispered, "Don't let him in this time." Before I could react, the glass cracked. Thin lines like spiderwebs raced outward. A single drop of red rolled down the middle. Then the lights cut out again. And everything went cold. I collapsed to the floor. Couldn't move. Couldn't scream. All I could hear was whispering from every direction. 1,000 voices all speaking the same word over and over again. Stay. Then came the static. Like a TV turned up full volume but not tuned to any channel. And somewhere beneath it all was that lullaby again. The one from my mother. Slowed down. Distorted. Like a vinyl record melting. It wasn't comfort anymore. It was a dirge. And it was coming from inside the walls. From behind every surface. The last thing I remember was crawling to the front door, dragging my body across the floor like a wounded animal. My hand reached the handle. I prayed it would open this time. I turned it. It clicked. I pulled. And light. Blinding. Warm. Morning. I was outside. Just like that. The birds were chirping. My neighbors were watering their lawns. It was like nothing had ever happened. But when I looked down at my hands, they were covered in soot. Burn marks on my wrists. And the house? Gone. Just a smoldering crater in the ground. But the window, it was still there.